Hi, okay, welcome to this week's exam collection where we've got again our grade 4 and 5 crossover questions. So those foundation students can absolutely smash their exam, and those higher students, you're not missing those marks at the beginning of your paper. So normal thing, we are going to hit pause, have a go, press play, and see the solution. We've got 6 to do, so hit pause and press play when you're ready. Okay, so we've got a key word, similar. This means everything's been multiplied up by the same scale, factor. So I use my boxes and labels. I've got my small and my larger shape. And the connecting pair, whenever we use boxes and labels, we need a pair that connect, they go together. And in this, it is those two because they share the same edge. So 6 and 21. The other piece of information that I have is 5, which is on the small. So it's going into the small column. And then that just helps me organize the numbers. 6 is trapped in the corner. That's the one I divide by. Set it up, and you end up with 17.5. So this edge is 21. This edge is 17.5. I'm being asked to work out the perimeter of the large. So that would be 21 plus 21 plus 17.5. Obviously, you could add them and then double it, whatever works for you. And don't forget your units. So that one was 77 centimeters. The key being similar for that particular question. Okay, there's the next one. Pause and press play when you're ready. Okay, so algebra is actually our friend here, and it's the expectation from the examiner as well. If Anne has some cards, then Anne has a number I don't know. If Beth has 4 cards more than Anne, she's got the same number as Anne, which is a number I don't know, plus 4. And then Kath has 3 times, so 3 times what Beth has. So 3x plus 12. The total number of cards are 51. How much do each of them have? Well, altogether, x plus 4 plus 3x plus 12. That is the algebra version, expression of the cards that they have, and altogether that is 5x plus 16, and altogether we know it's a total of 51. So you set your equation up and then you hop to get it on its own. So I've got 5x equaling 35, divide through by 5, and x is equal to 7. So I've got to work out how many cards each of them have. So Anne has x, which is 7. Beth has 7 plus 4. And Kath has 3 times 7 plus 12, which comes out as 33. So hopefully that went well. Next question, hit pause and press play when you're ready. Okay, this is quite tricky. It's very wordy as well. It's a probability question. So whenever I see my word probability, I obviously think about that number 1. That's the maximum probability can add up to. They're giving us the probability that a bottle top is too big or too small. So what first thing I need to do is get the total of those probabilities. So I add those. Plus 0.015, and I get 0.023. Now that is the probability that it's not going to fit. I'm being asked to find the probability that it does fit, and that's where that 1. I know them fitting and not fitting together will add to 1, so I do 1, take away what I know about them not fitting to give me my answer That is the probability that the bottle top fits. Okay, next question. This is quite a big question. There's two parts to it. So let's get it so you can see both parts. And press play when you've had a go at this. Okay, so the story is about turbines even, A, B, and C, all right? And they're describing through what we can actually see in the diagram as well. What they're not pointing out is this here, which is our right angle. At the end of the day, we are looking at a right angled triangle. The first question is asking us to calculate the distance of AC. So a missing edge on a right angled triangle should be triggering Pythagoras, okay? So we have got a squared plus b squared equals c squared. If you are someone that gets muddled over what goes where, just use the right angle. The right angle is touching this edge, and they're the first two numbers in my formula. So linking through color is great. So now I can just put in 4.5 squared plus 6 squared is equal to c squared being my missing side. This gives me 56.25. And if I want to know what c is, which is ultimately my goal, I want to know this missing edge here, then I've got to get it on its own, which means finishing off by square rooting, and that comes out at 7.5. So Pythag was required in order to work out the first part of that question. And then we start talking about bearings. The bearing of C from A. That means I'm at A, so I'm here, and I'm going to be traveling to C. Now, a bearing is always measured clockwise. So what I want is that entire angle there. Now, I know angles on a straight line add up to 180. So I know that that side is 180, and then inside the triangle is actually what I'm looking for. So that is the angle I need to find. And this is trigonometry. Trigonometry is going to help us find the missing angles. So we've got to label the sides. This is opposite the angle that I want. This is adjacent. Now this is the hypotenuse, and I do have a value for that now, but I wouldn't use that value necessarily, just in case I'd made a mistake in the first part. I don't want to use a number that then's wrong. Better that I use the numbers that they gave me. So I'm going to just make this a little bit bigger now because we know what we're doing. So Sokotoa, I have got 6 with the A and the 4.5 with the O. So I've got A and O, which is here. So I'm using tan theta is opposite over adjacent, which is going to give me tan X, the angle I don't know. The opposite is 4.5 and the adjacent is 6. Now, just true to any equation, I know that this doesn't always feel like an equation, but it is. I want to know what X is, and if I'm going to work that out, I need to get it on its own. So the tan is going to be picked up and put on the other side. That will leave X equals, it lands as tan minus 1, and we've already got this. We pop that into our calculator and we get 36.86, and on it goes. Remember, we have just found the X. We haven't actually, on it goes. We haven't actually answered the question. The question was the bearing. So I want all of this. That is my bearing. So my last step is to do 180 plus the 36.86, which gives me 216.86, and on it goes. They are asking for it to be to the nearest degree, so we would say 217 degrees. So hopefully that went, we've got some quite big questions in this particular set of questions, quite tricky ones. So if you did well to spot the Pythag and the trig, really, really good, because they can really disappear when you've got a whole story to get through as well. Okay, next question. Pause, hit play when you're ready. Okay, so keyword, mean. How do I find the mean? I add them all up and I divide by how many are there. What I don't have are all the individual numbers to add up, but I know that there must be a total. When those 6 numbers are added together, there must be a total that got divided by 6, because that's the total of gains, that's the total of numbers that would have been there, and it would have given me 14.5. So what I can do is I can work out that total by timesing through by that 6, and that gave me a total of 87. And of course, I can repeat that process. So as I read through the story, it says that the rugby team played 1 more game. So there's now a total that's divided by 7. So I've got a total that's divided by 7. And when that happens, it gave a mean score of 16. So if I times through by that 7, I get 112. I need to work out the number of points the team scored in the 7th game. So that is the total of the 7, take away the total of the 6. They scored 25 in their 2nd game. Okay, 7th game. Don't know why I said 2nd. Okay, last question is another biggie. Okay, so let's get it so you can see it. Take your time, have a go, and then press play when you're ready. Okay, this is a question that looks way more complicated than it actually is, okay? First thing that we've got is the fact that we have got regular pentagons. We've got a regular pentagon along the outside, and then we've got this one on the inside. As soon as I read that word regular, I'm straight into my formula triangle, 360, exterior, sides, 360 divided by 5. That's the number of sides that I have, is 72. Now remember, that's finding the exterior. The interior sits on a straight line. So I can find the interior by using the straight line rule. And now I know that that and all the angles are 108. That is true of these outside angles as well. Okay, now I've done all of that almost without reading the full question. I haven't got myself worked up about the actual angle they want me to find. I've just gone, oh, I've read the word regular. Let's do what I know straight off. And it started to introduce some information into that diagram that wasn't there before. If I go to find out what it is they want me to find, it says work out the size of angle SRC. So SRC is this angle here. Okay, go from S to R to C, so it's that angle there. Now, due to all this additional information that they've given us, that these lines, for example, are equal, it means that you've got that symmetry going on. So if that angle there, which is X, is a certain size, then so will this one here. And then you are literally doing no more than your angles around a point. Angles around a point add up to 360. Take away the 108 that I know is living here, and I've got 252. So these two angles together add up to 252. Divide through by 2 and you get your angle of 126 for SRC. All right, so I think a selection of quite tricky questions that time. So really, really well done. Remember that these can be reused. You know, you could literally come back to this in a couple of weeks or in those nights heading up towards your exam where you can re-practice these questions and see how much you can remember. If you're finding these useful, please do subscribe so that you are aware of when these are coming up and all the other additional things that I do within the channel. Thank you for using Target Maths with your revision, and I'll see you again next week.